Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the last Cloudia video. Today we're going to be going over the unit ticket that was given to us yesterday. We're going to go ahead and talk about what the best units to pull. But again, I did state in my previous video that you should not be using this ticket until lap 3 is completed. Now your lap 3 does start tomorrow, and we will be getting heroes in here potentially. So on step 3 and 5, there is guaranteed SSRs and then 1 guaranteed unit. Again, we could potentially get a lot of units out of this thing, especially heroes. So at the end of the day, I still highly recommend that you do not use your ticket until this is fully completed, or I actually wouldn't even use it until all free daily spins are completed, whether they give us another lap after this or whatnot. It does say part 1, I don't know. But with that said, we do have the ticket. I know a lot of people were impatient in using it because I did see comments and I did see DMs on who they should use it for. Again, the DMs are pretty simple. I just stated do not use that damn ticket until that thing is over. A lot of them agreed. I don't know if they kept their word on it. But with that said, please be patient, guys. Just there's no reason to rush this anniversary. I definitely don't want you to lose. It would really suck to pull a unit with your ticket and then you get several dupes of them on the way through lap 5. There's no winning in that aspect. For me, I'm losing because I have every unit. I did get Telioso on I think lap 2. I did get him, and then I got a dupe today of him. So the guys, again, these units are popping up in these laps. So again, do not use your ticket. But if you are going to use your ticket and you're going to ignore me on waiting, that's totally fine. We're going to go ahead and talk about who to pull first. So for me, number 1 in the game is going to be support units. There's just so very little of them, with next being mages. DPS, we have them for days. I definitely don't recommend you using your ticket on a DPS if you do not have support units, especially for newer players. What I like about Advocate of God Labra is she teaches you about damage reduction. She also teaches you about debuffing the enemy while also supporting the team with healing. She kind of just does it all. She is more on the debuff side, where, like, let's say somebody like Reyna is on the buffing of the if your ally team. So that's why using them together is very valuable in some situations where the monster is nuking your HP. Running them together, there's nothing wrong with it. I've done it on several occasions to survive. It works really well because at the end of the day, you only need 1 DPS on your team to nuke most of the stuff in this game. In rare occasions, while I ever use 2 DPSs, I usually have 1 supporting my SCT, 1 supporting damage reduction, healing, and also SCT, and then I have 1 DPS on my team. Even in PvE content, I don't really use mages. I mostly use my mage for PvP content. But again, if you're trying to rush your story, a mage is not a bad idea either. That's why she's going to be my number 2. So Advocate of God Labyrinth will be number 1. Her pays are in the Crimson shop. I'll definitely recommend getting her clothing / robe, I forgot whatever it is, first, because it's very good for her. So number 1 again will be Advocate of God Labyrinth. If you do have Reyna, I can understand why you don't want her, but there's nothing wrong with doubling down on supports. It doesn't hurt. But if you do have Reyna and you're wanting to go more on the mage side, I definitely recommend Goddess of the Hub. Now, her kit is very free, and I say that because you could pretty much run her with just her base skills and she will still perform very well. But of course, this game is all about building, so building her will just make her perform to the max. All of her paids are in the shop as well, so very good. I actually run her staff and clothing or robe. It's just all really good stuff. They have revives on them. It's solid. With that said, she is a top mage in the game, so I definitely don't recommend getting like Lenius or anybody else outside of this. So again, we'll go ahead and start at the top again. Advocate of God Labyrinth first, and then Goddess of the Hub second. Now, when it comes down to a rare type here, we have Gilbert. Now, he is going to be a tank in the game. We do not use tanks in PvE content really at all. Very rare, or maybe even niche in some way. We only really use them for PvP. So if you're getting into the PvP side of things, he's very valuable. If you're already using Melza, as she is free, I could totally understand why you don't want Gilbert. But for GVG, Gilbert is pretty valuable because there's multiple slots that you can put him in, because there are 4 different rounds. So I can recommend, if you're trying to do that, Gilbert would definitely be it. Now, going into the DPS side, guys, we are hitting like a peak of DPS to where a lot of these units are become irrelevant, because Roland being a peak DPS now, especially with the 100% crit, it's kind of wild. We will start seeing a lot of power creep. As far as the newest unit in this, as far as DPS, we're definitely gonna have to say Great Hero Adele is that unit. DPS is very good because he's easy to build. He scales up SCR on damage cap. Has a decent amount of slayers, just performs really well. He is a fire and light skill user, so I'm definitely going to recommend him as your number one DPS. Again, guys, DPS is probably going to get power creep though, so again, if you don't have support and magic, do not pick a DPS out of this ticket thing. Just don't do it. The next thing I'm going to say is Arc. He is a great breaker. Now, he is probably one of my favorite breakers in the game outside of Ston. I just really like the character and his story, but he breaks very well. High DPS only in break, extends break with his paid. You will have to activate special to do more damage, so you do have to build up a little bit more to it, but he performs very well in a lot of scenarios. Probably still wouldn't recommend picking him over Adele. If you have Adele, you have Labyrinth, and you have Goddess Liliha. I think he's a good option because he's something unique. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and leave him on the side here, and we'll come back to him. Samurai Megas, I just wouldn't recommend it. He is very, very good unit. I believe he ignores 50% fire res, which is really cool. But the DPS is going to get power crept this year. I'm almost positive. So I can't recommend this one. Leodora is a very rare type called now an attribute. If you missed out on Diaz and you don't have Balin, he's a good choice because he basically can attack anything that has like super high res to all elements and perform very well. So still a solid unit. Beast Divinity Ray, really fun unit. Don't like the sprite, like the art, like the S4 special because it is kind of like an anime base. I like that his damage cap scales off of HP. It's fun to build, but if that's what you're looking for, then that's what he does. Knight of the Pale Flame, I don't recommend at all, especially with Hero Adele there. Yeah, I just don't recommend him at all. Archbeing Melee, I think she's valuable because of what she can do. She is one of the very few that could do ailment damage in the game. She performs absolutely amazingly in Hard Tower. I pretty much cleared all of my floors with her because of her insta-kill and her ailments that she can cause. She can cause stun, poison, illness, everything. She just has so much to offer. Just her damage cap is a little low, but with her insta-killing and stuff like that, it becomes pretty fun. And she can also support with her stuns and ailments to help your DPS. She's a little bit squishy though. All of her paids also in the Crimson Shop. Like I said, Gilbert more for the PvP side. And then I would actually ignore everything in here and go straight to the one general unit that I would recommend, and that's Teleosto. Outstanding PvP, definitely a nuker in PvE. Can clear waves very easily. So solid, but he is a general unit, so you will see him eventually while pulling for multiple units throughout the year. So if you want to be patient and wait for that, I could definitely recommend that you use your ticket on something else. I do think that his value is a lot higher than Adele at some points because he can be used heavily in PvE and PvP, where Adele is only used in PvE. So with that said, I'm gonna have to put him probably above Adele when we do my final countdown here. Just because of longevity. Like I said, Adele's light and fire, which those elements are not as rare, and I have a feeling they will get power crept. So let's go ahead and start from the top real quick before we end this video, because didn't want to make this too long. So number one, guys, we're gonna talk about the support. Avogad Labyrinth will be number one for sure. If you have Reyna, I can understand why you don't go for her, but if you want both, that's great. She's still going to be my number one, even if you have Reyna. Goddess Liliha, she's very good. The best magic damage dealer in the game. If you don't have a magic dealer, I probably would go with her first. But that's just, it's just so, that's like the most difficult part, guys, is between these two. So let me go ahead and restart that. So if you have Reyna and you're not too sure about Labyrinth, I would go with Goddess Liliha. If you don't, it just, yeah, I would just go with Goddess Liliha. If you don't have Reina, Labyrinth, 100%. So what does pretend you don't have Reina at this point? So let's start with Avocat God Labyrinth is 1. Number 2 is Liliha. And then we're gonna go for tank, it's only Gilbert. Now we're gonna go for DPS now. So DPS, I probably I hate that I'm doing this because he's a freaking general. But he is that good. I'd probably go, you know what, I won't do it for the sake of the video. I'll go with Hero Del first, and then I'll go Telioso second. How about that? We'll just do that. Because I think Telioso might be a little bit harder to build for newer people. I just got him recently, so I'm still building his kit. I ran out of materials the other day, so I gotta grind it out. But I'm gonna put Hero Del first, and then I'll put Telioso second, just because he is, and only because he's a general unit, and that's why I'm doing that. I'm not saying he's not good in any way. That's why I'm putting him there. Number 3, I would go with Melee. Now, like I said, Melee does something very unique, so that's probably what I would go for next. I would skip him, and him. And if you really want a breaker, we'll do top 5 DPS. We'll put Arc at number 4, and then we'll put Divinity Ray at number 5. So DPS 1, Great Hero, 2, Testes, 3, Arch being Melee, 4, Arc, and 5, Beast Divinity Ray. Yeah. I think I did good here, guys. So if you guys are struggling to make a decision, at the end of the day, guys, you should be going through lab 3 first anyways. So maybe you might pull 3 units out of this list to where you can just grab whatever the hell you want. But yeah, so if it gets to the end and you want to shoot a message to me, go ahead in the comments, and then we can go ahead and decide from there. But let's go ahead and wait until that final lap happens. But guys, if you guys are getting impatient, you want to use your ticket, that's the best advice I can give you as far as the units that are available in that pool. But if you have any questions, again, guys, you can always reach out to me. I'll try to answer you as soon as possible. But you guys have a great night. Be safe. Hope you're enjoying the anniversary. Next week will be the release of the newest unit. We should see the unit trailer on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I'm really excited. Hoping, I know a lot of you guys are waiting to see if it's Alice, but we'll see. But until then, guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.